40 for Rateable Crest Titans.
Welcome to Special Stage and welcome to the beautiful town of Builth Wells for the 5th round of the Jordan Road Surfacing BTRDA Rally Championship. It's the Nicky Grist stages, and so far there have been a whole host of titles all heading to this round looking to be sewn up, not least the Gold Star. Ewan Thorburn leading the way there after being utterly dominant this season in that Ford Focus WRC. Can he make it a clean sweep right through to round 5 and take the title with 2 rounds left to go? Let's find out. There's all the action on the stages for you from Special Stage right now. On we go to the stages then, and as we had come to expect, it would be the early lead for Ewan Thorburn and Paul Beaton. They end the morning with a 21-second lead in the event. They were doing exactly what they set out to do this weekend. All eyes on that championship. For Stephen Petch and Michael Wilkinson, it would be second. The pair holding their own in front of the rest of the field, but there wouldn't be enough pace out there to challenge for the lead in Wales as far as this morning's stages were concerned. It would be a strong start to the day, though, for Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence, as well as leading the way in the NR4 class. The pair also round out our podium places in the Gold Star overall in that Evo. And just behind them, on the leaderboard and just outside of the podium places, were Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere. Themselves in the B13 class, though, and leading that with a healthy 15-second advantage. Sam Billam and Patrick Walsh start the day well, just as Sam had been intending to. 5th place for them by morning service. They'd be happy with that start, but of course there were still another 4 stages to try and push their way up the overall leaderboard. Back to the NR4 class though, and it will be 2nd place for Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy. There were only 7 seconds between them and Naylor for the class lead too, showing just how tight this overall leaderboard was, because they're not next to each other on the road, are they? And 3rd in that class were Scott Faulkner and Gareth Parry. The pair, of course, doing well in the Gold Star Championship overall as well so far this season as far as the standings are concerned. Back to the B13 class, and with Hurst out in the lead, it will be up to Richard Hill and Stefan Evans to take 2nd in the class for now, 15 seconds back from the class lead. They didn't exactly have an advantage in that position themselves either, because the gap back to this man, Richard Sykes, Simon Taylor alongside, was only 2 seconds. Sykes promising a big push this weekend, so perhaps we'd see that change around in the next loop of stages. And rounding out our top 10 this weekend was Steve Simpson and Mark Glenister, out in Melvin Evans' Hyundai, having sold the S2000 car while Steve decides what he wants to buy next. Must be nice. So we are 4 stages down then here in Wales, 4 to go on the Nicky Grist stages, and the leaderboard in the Gold Star is looking like this. Let's head back out onto the stages then, a repeat of this morning's loop of 4 stages in the afternoon, and we would see some notable changes in the leaderboard, including one of our Silver Star crews rounding out the top 10 in Gold Star, but not our current championship leader Lepley. This time it would be Andy Davison and Tom Murphy fighting their way into the top of the overall rally results. Ian Joel and Sean Hughes moved their way up the leaderboard in that Escort Cosworth to take 3rd in B13 at the end of the rally. Not quite the finish that they were intending on, but a good end to the day nonetheless. And that unexpected debut in the Hyundai certainly went to plan for Steve Simpson and Mark Glenister, getting the car back to the finish in one piece and with 8th place on the overall leaderboard. A hotly contested one here at the Nicky Grist as well. Perhaps another car to add to the list of possibilities for Steve's next gravel car. A push, as promised, from Richard Sykes and Simon Taylor would see them end the rally with 7th overall. A good, strong end to the day, also taking 2nd in the B13 class in the process. Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere would be lucky to even make it to the finish of the rally, let alone with the B13 class victory. The steering coming loose in the later stages of the loop and causing some very worrying handling. They get the car through though, even having to change gear with the gear selector knocking on Matthew's leg as he was driving, with 6th place overall. Sadly, we'd lose Scott Faulkner and Gareth Parry, the diff on the Evo breaking soon into the second half of the rally. There's no change in the NR4 class though for Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy. A good end for the pair, even if they do have to take second in class this weekend. But that, of course, means that the fight in that class had gone the way of this man, Pat Naylor, Ian Lawrence alongside. The pair always going well here, and this weekend, no different, ending the rally just outside the podium positions and with the NR4 class victory. A late push would see a career best result for Sam Billam and Patrick Walsh. They moved their way up the results to take the final step on the podium. They were pushing well too, only 26 seconds back from Petch at the end of 8 fast Welsh stages. And as benchmarks go, this man is a pretty good one. Stephen Petch and Michael Wilkinson taking second place. No change to where they've been running throughout the day. A good, strong end to the rally, even if it wasn't enough to keep them in the championship hunt. And the reason for that would be victory for Ewan Thorburn and Paul Beaton, giving them enough wins this season to make the championship simply uncatchable for anybody else, meaning the pair end the rally as winners not only of the Nicky Grist stages, but becoming our 2019 BTRDA Rally Champions. So confirmation then of the results here at the championship deciding Nicky Grist stages, round 5 of the Jordan Road Surfacing BTRDA Rally Series. Ewan Thorburn, you are a two-time BTRDA champion. You've done it with 2 rounds to go and it could yet be a full sweep. What a result today.
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, stages are always excellent down here. Weather's played its part and Paul's done a good job. Car's been behaved itself, so yeah, another good day at the office. So yeah, it's 5 out of 5 this year. It's a bit unexpected to be honest, but yeah, we'll take it, so delighted.
You say a good day at the office. There was some talking in the service area earlier by some of the other competitors that you were having some issues with the car, and yet there you were, extending your lead at the same time.
Yeah, with second stage we had a wee bit of issue with the handbrake and the launch, and it affected the gearbox, but yeah, we got over that, and this afternoon just tried to enjoy ourselves, and times when you enjoy yourself, the time seems to come, and yeah, so can't complain.
After that start in Bilthen, it's on to the action, and it would be a surprise at the midway point as we see a different name topping the times. Andy Davison and Tom Murphy leading the way after the morning stages by 7 seconds in that sunbeam. For our championship leaders, George Lapley and Tom Woodburn, it would be second. They didn't have to go all out this weekend, but they were clearly still pushing. A result like this would be all they needed to take the championship, so they'd need to make sure that they kept things neat and tidy. For Ben Friend and Cliff Simmons, it would be third. There'd been mixed fortunes for the pair on previous rallies so far this season, a couple of retirements not filling them with confidence, but third at this stage was a good start for the Escort pair. This weekend would see Jason Pritchard and Steve McPhee coming out to contest their local event, scrutineering before the event actually held in the family's North Road garage, so it made sense. They get off to a good start, ending the morning in 4th. A good fight with our Silver Star regulars. The morning would be kind to Tommy Meadows and Ocean Owen. They put in some good times to end stage 4 with the lead in the R2 class in that Fiesta. But as you'd expect in this series, it was a close fight. They were hunted down on the overall results by Owen McMacken and Lee Taylor, leading the way in the B12 class and going well in that Escort to lie 6th place overall. Back to the R2 class then, and it would be second at this stage for Perry Gardner and Keaton Williams, continuing their impressive run. They were just 8 seconds back from the class lead at the midpoint of the day. They'd have a bit of a moment over the flying finish of the 4th stage, but thankfully no time lost, having crossed the finish and got a time for the stage. Damien Prats and Johnny Tad Evans, meanwhile, would be lucky to get away with a bit of a moment themselves in stage 4. Lock to lock before straightening the Escort up and continuing. No real time lost though, the pair ending the morning with 8th. It had been a great start for Matthew and Tim Tordoff, one of their best starts so far, in fact. They lie in 9th place in the Silver Star, 3rd in the R2 class as well. And rounding out the top 10 at the midpoint in the event were James Giddings and Sean Cunniff in the Fiesta R2, just 2 seconds back from Tordorf as well. Let's take a look at some of the positions outside of the top 10 leaderboard. It will be 2nd in the B11 class for Rob Wright and Terry Mallin, lying in 12th place overall in that escort. For Colin Griffiths and Tom Bishop, it will be 3rd in B12, going well once again in the ever-entertaining BMW in 14th place. There'd be a different leader though in the N3 class this weekend. Bobby Mitchell and Shannon Turnbull would take the advantage there from 17th overall. For Jeff Phelps and Pete Wilson, it would be 3rd in B11. They were about a minute back from 2nd place in the class in 18th overall. And 2nd in the N3 class would belong to Steve Allman-Smith and Sam Coleman. Things going well for the pair at this stage in the rally. Behind Allman-Smith and Coleman on the results overall and chasing them down in the class will be Zach Hughes and Tom Wood. The pair would have been leading, but a 10-minute penalty would see them tumble down the leaderboard. So we're midway through the rally, and this is how the results are shaping up in the Silver Star Championship here at the Nicky Grist stages. As we head into the afternoon stages here at the Nicky Grist, we see some changes in the classes. We lose Colin Griffiths and Tom Bishop in the BMW when the diff expires on the car. That, along with retirement for Damien Prats, would see Tim Phelps and Elwin Manuel step up to take 2nd in B12 this weekend in their escort. There's more attrition though from some notable names. We'd lose Zach Hughes and Tom Wood, a broken bottom arm, putting them out of the event on stage 6. Their championship fight would have to wait for another round. That, of course, means no change in the N3 class for Steve Allman-Smith and Sam Coleman. 2nd place in the class, as well as 21st overall in that Fiesta. In the B11 class, there wouldn't be any change to 3rd place. Jeff Phelps and Pete Wilson holding on to that position to end the rally. And indeed, no change in the N3 class either for Bobby Mitchell and Shannon Turnbull. A welcomed end to the event for the pair as they take maximum points in the class. We move on to the top 10 then, and it would be 2nd in B11 for Rob Wright and Terry Mallin. A good end to a good day for the pair. Tony Simpson and Ian Bevan would use the afternoon stages to climb the leaderboard, ending the event with 9th overall, 4th in the ultra-competitive R2 Cup. A penalty for Matthew Tordorf would mean it's a step up to 3rd in the R2 Cup for James Giddings and Sean Cunniff. A little off the fight for the top of that class, but a great 8th place finish to take home. It had been another good rally for Owen McMakin and Lee Taylor, taking the B12 class victory this weekend, as well as 7th overall. For Perry Gardner and Keaton Williams, it would be 2nd in the R2 Cup. A good result for the pair, and those points meaning that they remain 2nd in the Silver Star Championship as well, with just 2 rounds remaining. But for this weekend, at least, it would be the R2 class win for Tommy Meadows and Ocean Owen. A welcomed result and indeed finish after disappointment last time out on the Plains Rally. Another crew just happy to get to the finish after a non-finish last time out would be Ben Friend and Cliff Simmons. They end the rally with 4th in Silver Star, 3rd in the H3 class. For our championship leaders, George Lepley and Tom Woodburn, it was a mature drive, a case of managing the pace to the finish in order to take the title. They do exactly what they came here to do, ending the event with 3rd overall, but more importantly, retaining their Silver Star crown for 2019. Back to the overall results from this weekend though, and it would be 2nd for Jason Pritchard and Steve McPhee. A great end to the event as the pair take the historic Cup trophy as well on Jason's home turf. But taking victory, and the only crew to do so apart from Lepley this year, were Andy Davison and Tom Murphy. 18 seconds the advantage by the finish. The points for their victory moving them up to 4th in the Silver Star standings after round 5. So confirmation then of the results here on the Nicky Grist stages. And of course, congratulations to our 2019 Silver Star champions. Andy, first Silver Star today. Hell of a battle you had out there, and you beat our Silver Star champion.
Yeah, he takes some beating. He's driven a great year. We thought we can't have it all having his all his own way, so we've really pushed today, especially on stage 1 and 5. Really sort of after lunch thought we were just going to have to go for it, and sort of try and make the tyres last the next stage, which was tough work, trying to sort of manage it really, but yeah, it was enjoyable, definitely.
I've heard people say that they've driven the doors off it before, but you've actually driven the lights off yours.
Lights off it, yeah, that'll do. So we didn't hear anything, promise.
With the 1400 Championship still very much up for grabs and unlikely to be sewn up this weekend, it would have been a big push from everyone right from the off. And for Chris Powell and Jim Lewis, that meant only one thing: the lead, and an unusually large one for this series as well. And that lead would be over this man, second place Steve Black with Paul Morris alongside. Black not usually running this high up on the leaderboard, but this weekend was looking like it could finally be his turn to step up the podium. And rounding out those podium positions were Richard Jordan and James Grattan-Smith. The Proton pair certainly making that car work hard, sounding amazing up in those revs and propelling them to that final step on the podium at this stage in the rally. Just outside the podium positions, it will be fourth for Dominic Hodge and Stefan Arndt. The micro pair just 19 seconds back from Jordan up ahead as well. Two names missing from the top of the leaderboard though would be Callum Black and Michael Gilby, usually fighting for the lead in the 1400s, but this weekend the pair would have some issues with the car not running right, putting them down the order into 5th, 2.5 minutes off the lead at this stage. For Aaron Ricks and Rob Cook, it will be 6th, the pair out in an escort this weekend, and things looked to be going well so far. The same could be said for Matthew Evans and Steve Winter as well, Steve's first event on notes this weekend. Sadly, however, the pair would be lying in 7th place before a heavy landing on the jump at the end of stage 4 would cause a drive shaft break on the car. Not a problem in itself, but it decided to put itself through the engine block, and that certainly was a problem. It would be game over for the pair. So that meant that it was at least one place to be gained after service for Stuart Spire and Pete Williams. But for now, the pair end the morning with 8th on the leaderboard. They would at least, though, have a 15-second buffer over Noel Lappin and Will Atkins, the pair ending the morning with 9th in the escort. And rounding out the top 10 were Jane Auden-Rowe and Chris Rowe. They looked to be going well out there on the stages in that familiar green MG. Let's take a look at some of the classes outside of the top 10, and it will be second in 1400C for Richard Garnett and Rob Gillam. The class actually being led by now retired Matthew Evans, so that class lead will be up for grabs after service. Just behind Garnett and Gillam would be Adrian and Matt Walk, third in the class, and themselves soon to see a boost up that leaderboard as well after a service halt. In Rally First, it would be a good, strong start to the rally for Sam and Liam Johnson, but only on paper. They almost didn't make it to the start of the first stage when the fuel pump failed, but with advice from their dad and the help of other competitors, they got it sorted and reached service with the lead in the category. Behind the Johnsons on the results were Graham Roberts and Stephen Spear. It was close though, just 5 seconds in it at the top of the leaderboard. So it was all to play for in the afternoon. And rounding out the top of the Rally First leaderboard would be Simon and Alex Stanbury. Third place for the pair, second in the Rally First 2-litre class behind Roberts just up ahead. So we are midway through the day. Here's a reminder of how the results are shaping up here at the Nicky Grist stages. We head into the afternoon then, and there'd be no change for Simon and Alex Stanbury. They round out the Rally First results with third, taking second in their class in the process. All of which, of course, meant that it was the class victory for Graham Roberts and Stephen Spear. They also remain steady in the overall positions to take second in Rally First. But winners this weekend will be Sam and Liam Johnson. The victory was sweet, but the real victory for the pair was even getting to the end of the rally, something that had eluded them so far this season. On to the overall 1400s then, and it would be Adrian and Matt Walk rounding out the top 10, as well as taking the 1400C victory this weekend. It was a strong finish for Jane Auden-Rowe and Chris Rowe. They take 9th place at the end of the event. There's frustration though for Stuart Spire and Pete Williams. It will be a little drop down the overall order to end the rally with 8th in the 1400 class in that Corsa. This, of course, good news for Noel Lappin and Will Atkins as they step up the other way on the results to end the event with that 7th place in the Escort. And speaking of Escorts, it would be a good end to the rally for Aaron Ricks and Rob Cook. Clearly, the pair mastering rear-wheel drive as much as they had front-wheel drive in the past. 6th place for the pair this weekend. For Dominic Hodge and Stefan Arndt, it would be a drop to 5th. But that was just fine. A good result for the micro pairings still, and they leave this round lying 3rd in the championship. A strong end to the rally for Richard Jordan and James Grattan-Smith after a couple of non-finishes before this meant that their championship fight was not going that well, but they'd at least be happy with a 4th place finish this weekend. Someone else happy with their day would be Callum Black and Michael Gilby. They do a bit of damage limitation to recover from their morning's issues, climbing their way up the podium places into 3rd this weekend. It wasn't the victory that they came here looking for, but it does keep them in the championship hunt. That, of course, means that it's the family victory, at least for Steve Black and Paul Morris. Not the way that they would have wanted to do it with Callum's problems, of course, but they would take it nonetheless. 2nd place in the 1400 category at the end of the rally. But that all means it's a convincing and well-deserved victory for Chris Powell and Jim Lewis. They leave Built Wells with an 8-point lead in the championship standings here in the 1400s. But with 2 rounds remaining, it's still all to play for in this exciting and close series. So here's your confirmation of the results at the end of round 5, the Nicky Grist stages. That result for Powell cementing his position at the top of the championship standings going into the final 2 rounds.
Yeah. Well, we definitely needed a win today to keep it going one more round. We were quick this morning, put a bit of pressure on Callum. Obviously had his problems, and then we had a comfortable lead at lunch and just held on to it this afternoon, trying not to make any mistakes and get to the finish.
Yeah, you did hold on to it. That was one hell of a lead out there.
We had we went so hard this morning. We got good lead, and that's all you got to do, really, isn't it? Then so make sure you don't break the car in the afternoon. Then
makes it sound so easy. Well done.
If only. See you next time out. Yeah, Woodpecker, looking forward to it.
Bit of drama then in the 1400s here at the Nicky Grist stages, and that championship fight continues to the next round, the Woodpecker Rally in Ludlow next time out. We will see you there. Thank you for watching.
Care 40 for rateable crest Titans.